And we're live, coming to you directly from Sydney, Australia and Malaysia today. We've got a very, very special guest. I'm really excited to present you guys to Mr. Yuri Zaritsky from the Lucidity for All group on social media. This is one of the biggest groups that I've ever seen that covers interesting topics like OBEs and lucid dreaming. And Yuri is an expert on these fields. I've really been looking forward to having a chat to Yuri and sharing our discussion here on Facebook Live with all of the audience. So what I'd like to do is welcome Yuri onto the Awakening Point livecast. How are you, Yuri?
Mikael, thank you very much. I'm fine. Everything is good here in Malaysia. It's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So a great time to see you. Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're right. You're right.
So I'm happy. I'm happy to be with you and share this. It's my passion. So and I was looking for the videos to make and I didn't want to make it, just me talking. Like there's a lot of videos that way, so it's much more interactive that way with a live cast, with talking with you, having some guys posting questions. So it's much better, much more natural, isn't it? That's why 100%. You're doing it, Mika, right?
Yes. Totally agree. Yeah, that's exactly why the live casts happen, because the discussion between two people and just the interaction of the audience, it really does take it to another level, especially with a topic like this with OBEs and lucid dreaming. Now, Yuri, your background, you were born in Russia, weren't you?
Yeah, in Russia, to be precise, in Ukraine. So I'm a Ukrainian guy, half Ukrainian, half Russian. My papa is Russian, my mama is Ukrainian. And then my parents migrated to France, so they still stay there. And then I studied there for a while, and then I migrate myself to Malaysia, where I did an internship here, and then I never left the country. I just love it. So I remain in Asia, and I do not think I'm gonna leave it anytime soon. So that's the story
amazing.
Of my.
Yeah. The weather there is really, really good in Malaysia, isn't it? Very similar to Australia.
It's hot. It's usually hot. There is just some rainy season sometimes, but I miss the snow. I miss the cold weather sometimes. Well, it's okay. It's good. Yeah, but nice islands to visit here. Really beautiful country. The islands, and then it's quite central in Asia because it's just 1 or 2 steps away from Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines. Even to Australia is not that far. You can go to Bali, it's Sumatra. It's quite central point here. So it's nice.
Yeah, it is. I'd love to head over there myself one of these days.
Well, come over, Michael. I'll be your guide. No worries. Come over.
Yeah, brother. I'll have to pop in there and get a tour with you. Okay, Yuri, this topic of out-of-body experiences or astral projection that some people call it, lucid dreaming. How did you get involved with all of this stuff? How did it first happen for you?
Okay, it's personally I was kind of guy who was always into magical stuff, fairy tales. Probably like all the kids used to be, when we are born, we like all the magic stories, fairy tales and all that. But maybe the difference with me was I didn't want it to stop. So I wanted it to be as magical as I was imagining since the beginning, since the young age. It didn't start with dreaming immediately, even though maybe I had a few dreams here and there that just were feeling quite real. But there was nobody, didn't have papa or mama to tell me, dreams can be like that or like this, or nobody in the family was talking about it. Even though we had some books though. But my mom and my dad didn't seem like practicing it very well. They had the books though. So I read those books and I was wondering what is going on. What is that? I was trying things, never anything would work out. So I continued on that story of I wanted things to be magical, not just wake up, go to work, eat, have a shit, and go to sleep. Something a little bit more to it. Not even though I'm quite pragmatic overall, I still wanted it to be a bit magical. So okay. I look around me, then I saw those guys, sitting, mantra, mudra, meditating, guru, whatever. And there's whoa, what's going on with these guys? They seem to close eyes, smile, and enjoy themselves for a few hours like this. What the hell is going on? So they have some stories to tell there. So I enrolled a few years back to yoga stuff. So I chose this yoga, Kundalini yoga, because from my research, that was the most powerful yoga that brings you to the Kundalini awakening and all of that. So I didn't just go and study that. I went to become a teacher in Kundalini yoga, but it didn't bring me so much further. And while I was learning yoga, I was having some psychedelic experiences at the same time in Indonesia with psilocybin mushrooms. And nobody in the yoga community could have didn't dare to talk about them, and they would say it's a big no. It's a shortcut, but well, they never tried. They have no idea what is it. Or if they tried, I don't know. There's some wrong ideas going on about it in the yoga community. And so this went on until one day, there was a book that passed through my hands, and that was a book of Michael Raduga. That has been renamed, maybe I don't know by whom and for which reason. It's not important, but it was renamed into Superior Yoga. So me, learning Kundalini yoga out of hundreds of books that I had downloaded, found on yoga, Superior Yoga. Of course, I opened it first, and that was absolutely nothing to do with yoga. That was Michael Raduga book. On the phase, and that was one of his very early books, and then I started practicing it immediately, and I had my first lucid dream out of body within the first week, and wow. And I called in my life that day the point of no return because until I find better, well, that's the best thing. To everything that I have dreamed about when I was younger, all the magical stuff, that became real for me now and easily accessible. So big thank you to Michael if he sees this one day. We used to work with him for about 2 years together, and then we separated because I'm probably too independent to be with somebody. So he does his stuff. I really appreciate his work. What he does is really good. Some of his stuff I actually teach. I modify it a little bit. I have different understanding for certain things. We will talk about it today. But great stuff. Anyone who wants to begin with me or read Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how it started. It was a lengthy answer, yeah?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's really interesting that we're starting off on that bat because I actually came across the phase by Michael, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, maybe something like that. And I read it all in one sitting straight away. Like I downloaded it off the internet and I read it. And I think that night I set my alarm clock for maybe 4 a.m. in the morning. And I followed the procedure, and you know what? First go, it worked. I use the technique, so it's quite a good technique that Michael teaches in the phase.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It just works. and it has. What I like about it is the completely pragmatic approach without any boo boo baba voodoo wawa. You know, it's
Yes.
do this, get results. That's all. You don't need to be a believer. That helps, but you don't need to believe in it. Just do what you are. Be good student. Read it carefully. Follow the steps. You get the results. That's all. But I have a small modification to what he says, though. We will talk about it later. I have small upgrade to what he does. It's just a small one there.
Yeah, it's interesting that you've gone down that path, Yuri, because when I very first got into astral projection, and this was back just when I left school, so we're talking like, you know, over 20 years ago, I found a book called Llewellyn's Guide to Astral Projection, and this is an old book, and you know, the amount of preparation and you know, hoo-ha that I had to go through to try to get experiences, you know, was phenomenal. It would take me an hour of like relaxing and you know, going up and down my body, all this stuff, and you know, I used to fall asleep all the time.
Oh yeah, it's too long. Yeah, it can be too long. Yeah. So yeah, our subject, right, is lucid dreaming, out of body, astral projection, right? So this is, and then another term, the phase, and then I came up with just to put another kind of identity, but it's quite similar to what phase means, but I call it shifting realities. So it's so you become the shifter or become the phaser or tuner, you know, radio station. So I call it shifting realities, shifting radio stations, so but mainly if you start digging it, right? So there are three approaches: astral projection, out of body experience, and lucid dreaming. Mainly, and then you have the phase, and me now with shifting. What's the difference, right? So lucid dreamers maybe will just stay more to scientific brain capabilities thing. Still, why we dream? If you don't deep dive into the philosophy, scientific part, maybe they are not really aware of it and how it's being built. What's the experience of dreaming? Where does it come from? I mean, it's quite a salad there of the dreaming. There's quite amount of things put together, but there is not much explanation by the scientific. What is it? How it works? Quite a mystery still. Astral projection, out of body experience. It's more or less. I put it more or less in the same basket, whereas astral projectors will call it astral body, while out of body explorers will call it soul or subtle body, whatever you want to call it. But okay, some extra body there. But more to spiritual. This is the out of body, and astral projectors will be going to more spiritual side of it. So that's would be the difference. And another one is, you know, when I want to mention that is quite important. If you listen carefully to the accounts of guys who say, "Oh, I had an out of body experience," usually it's the guy, you know, laying down in bed doing whatever technique, and then that guy will stand up from the bed. This standing up can be sometimes very smooth, as if you stand up as normal, and sometimes is a little bit sticky. Maybe one leg is a bit sticking to the body, or one arm. But the whole separation thing, you know, when we say separating from the body, is not exactly describing the reality of it, because most of the time is a normal get up. The difference is we don't stand up with physical body, but another kind of body or another construct of the body, you know. And this body doesn't need to be you. It can be transformed into a woman, a man if you were a woman, or a little alien, you know. And when you stand up from the bed, it doesn't mean that necessarily on your bed there will be you can see the physical version of yourself, you know, or maybe you see somebody else in your bed, you know. Many things can happen, but my main point there is that there is a running understanding that when you stand up from the bed, you run through the experience of kind of sticky separation. That would be out of body. And some guys like to call it upgrade from lucid dreaming to out of body. So what they do, they come back to their bed, jump into the body, and separate again. I find it a little bit redundant, and I don't see the point. Absolutely no point. That'll be a waste of time. I find to jump back to the body, wherever you are, you can have immediately access to whatever you want. So why would you go to the body to make some kind of upgrade?
And
so, yeah,
Yuri,
just,
does everyone have to experience, like, for instance, when they're having an out-of-body experience, being, for instance, in their room and seeing themselves in a bed, or can it just be something where they're literally in a completely indescribable environment straight away, like outside of?
Absolutely. Okay, how it goes? There is three types of beginning of the out-of-body experience, astral projection, lucid dreaming. One is you are already in the dream state. You meet the pink elephant. The pink elephant talks to you, says something to you, and then you tell yourself, pink elephant talking to me? I must be dreaming. So that would be the natural, spontaneous beginning of lucid dream, out of body. You are already in the dream state, so it has begun. So you're already somewhere, be it in your bedroom or in an alien world. You already started somewhere. Okay, and then the other one is either you whatever the practice you are doing, wake back to bed through meditation, whatever you're doing, the starting point would be before you have fallen asleep. You woke up, or you didn't sleep yet, but you start from the waking point, and then you're going to sleeping point and dreaming point. So you make that transition there, however you started with whatever technique. So when you do this technique, the thing is, while you are laying down on bed, you want it or you don't want it, but you are basically saying that I am lying on bed. You don't have to say it. It's a fact. You are laying down on bed. So what is happening? You are reaffirming where you are. You are sticking yourself into the reality of the bedroom. So when you shift to the dream state, you are still in your head in the bedroom. So your dream state starts with the bedroom most of the time. But you can, of course, when guys who are very who start to detect the transitions, they get ready, you know, oh, I was in bed, I was doing whatever, blah, 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 blah. But when the transition comes, the beach, the mountain, the ocean, you know, so just at that moment, boom, so you can teleport yourself. And even if you didn't do that, when you are at that transition space there, your thinking process is quite different. So I call it free flow of thoughts, and then you are not really in control of your thoughts there. So any thought can come and make you transition to a completely different place than your bedroom. And the transition can happen just in 1 second, or, you know, just in a blink of an eye, or the transition is quite fast. When the transition is fast, it can be quite startling. Between you are laying down doing the technique, you feel your body lying down, the gravity is pulling your face down. If you're on your back, right, the gravity is pulling you down, and then boom, standing up, gravity pulling down, different clothes, different environments, so quite startling. So it can be quite fast.
you're talking about that period of time where sleep and a wakefulness is kind of like just coming together. So you haven't quite fallen asleep, you're still awake, but just in that twilight zone. That's what you're talking about, aren't you?
Yeah, your question was, where do you start? Is it always in your bedroom, or is it somewhere else? So when you transition, most of the time you will transition in your bedroom because you are practicing in your bedroom on your bed. So you are fixing in your mind that idea that you are in the bedroom. So your dream state will begin with you in the bedroom.
Yes.
But with that free flow of your mind, of the thoughts, you could be transitioning to somewhere else. Or you stand up from the bed, but around you is not a bedroom, it's an alien city, for example.
Yes.
What I'm saying is, sometimes you will suggest yourself things that you were not really in control, and that suggestion will be the seed of the beginning of your adventure.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yes, and that suggestion can be not completely conscious. It might be while you're kind of
Especially those guys who are doing it from the meditative state. Come to the dreaming state. You can't be thinking too much. So you're gonna quit your grip on your thoughts. If you don't quit the grip of your thoughts, you won't be going to sleep state. So anyone who has access to who is doing it directly from the waking state to the dreaming state, they quit on that grip on that reality here. They have to be quite soft there. So once they transition there, they don't have the grip, and you try not to think about things, but the thoughts will be still passing by. So that's what I want to say. And because you don't have the grip on them, it becomes quite free. The thoughts can, just flowing, whatever, and they can be the seed at that moment. You think about your holiday for no reason, your dream will start with that holiday. You were thinking about your problem with your whoever, and the dream will start with something related to that.
Yes, but it's much harder to get into that state from a willing waking state, isn't it? You need a fair bit of practice to be able to have an OBE from that.
Yeah, that takes a bit of practice, because we are such thinkers, right? We identify with thinking every single day. So quit on thinking is, for most of people, is not something clear. How do you stop thinking? What does it mean? Why would you do that in the first place? For somebody who begins, it's a big subject, stop thinking.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember when I first started meditating, the first time I tried it, I'm like, this is impossible. There's no way I will ever be able to do this. But then, even just after a week of trying, it just started, my mind just started to get quiet. And I'm like, wow, this is all right.
Oh, it feels good. It's a nice state, but it's quite easy to notice. I'm actually writing an article at this. I was writing it yesterday, but I clicked on something wrong and the page disappeared. But I will complete it today. I call it the magic moment, and I talk about it right inside. So it will come out today, probably on the site. And it's a very nice thing, because the thoughts are just flowing. And the thing is, sometimes the thoughts that are coming can be quite enlightening, or you'll be like, I really thought that, or something. I wonder if it's a little bit in the something accessing already to the subconscious mind, whatever that is, where you get some extra powers, or or not powers, but extra freedom given with your flexibility and the lack of grip on your daily life. I don't know if you see what I'm talking about. Is my wife sometimes is laughing is when I go to sleep, but I actually don't sleep. She knows that. I close my eyes. It doesn't mean when my eyes are closed that I'm asleep. Even if I'm snoring, I could be snoring. It doesn't mean that I'm sleeping. I'm still wide awake, and I'm aware that I'm snoring. I can hear what's going on in the room. Doesn't mean that I'm sleeping. And then, but I can be still in control of my body, even though behind my closed eyelids is quite psychedelic, you know, to say the least. and then that free flow of thoughts is there, and I'm very aware of it. And then it's very funny because jokes become natural. The speech is very how to say, the internal dialogue is not the same. It's quite free and very easygoing, and sometimes I just snore and I make some jokes about what's going on and everyone is laughing, you know. But what I mean is the jokes are made without any effort. The feeling is great. Once you lose that grip on the normal blah 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 of every day, ego, whatever definition who you are, and that constant commentary on everything that's going on, you get in that free flow of thoughts. It's a nice state to be. Sometimes we get it, I believe, right after sleep. You know, you just wake up, but you don't jerk yourself out the bed, or you stand up and you're still in that groggy state. Have you experienced that?
I have.
Maybe?
I have, yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So you see what I mean, yeah? You're like, you know, you walk around, but you are still very relaxed, you know, very. So that's the state you get when you start to transition there. If you pay attention to your thoughts, this is where you are at the same time. Very often you will get that at the same time.
So Yuri, at the point where the transition actually takes place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, I'll give you an example of what I've experienced before, where in that state where I'm transitioning from waking reality, like I'm starting to get tired, I'm starting to fall asleep, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm picturing a scene, maybe like my backyard, and then all of a sudden that thing that I can see sucks me into it, goes all around me, and boom, I'm there. And now I'm looking around thinking, shit, I'm there, yeah. I'm in another place, but I'm fully aware. I'm thinking, I'm awake, but my body's asleep. And I remember the first time this happened to me, I'm like, oh my God, this is real. I just kept looking around like, this is a world, you know? It's like it's too real to be imagination. So, you know, is what's going on there? Yeah, how do we explain this to people that have maybe experienced this or want to experience it? Like, what's going on?
You can't. They will think you're crazy. Yeah? No, you can't. I mean, try to tell somebody, oh, that was amazing. Okay, I can hear you, but the amazement itself, you know, of you being there and realizing, oh, I am here, I am awake, and just like you said, right? And I still remember my first experience with that. The first time I was doing it, and that lasted for a while, and I saw things that, oh my God, what is going on? But you know, when I say to hear it, okay, I can be as expressive, as demonstrative as I want. You can't communicate the feeling. You got to experience it, right? You want to know what the ocean is? Go dive into it, man. You know, so it's the same. So to explain. It's the feeling is impossible, but to experience is very possible. Now we don't need to do boo 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 wow 3-year preparation, dedication, and $1,000 in an ashram. No, absolutely not. Go read the right stuff. Be serious about it. I start with my students. You know, like, no shit. You really want to learn? Okay. Listen carefully, you know. Don't start to deviate, do this, do that, you know. No, you want to do it? Okay, then listen. don't deviate. You know, practice it. So if you come like that, there is no reason not to have a success with it. Absolutely not. I'm talking here to the guys who never experienced it, who want to have it for the first time. This is how you do it. It's real. It has been scientifically proven. Google it out. There was 2-3 experiments done. LaBerge and who was the other guy? They have done it. So if you come from a spiritual background, it's one of the ways that lead to enlightenment. Tibetan yoga and all of that is for spiritual guys is for me. I see it as a golden door for somebody who is being spiritual. What other technique gives you access to that to that kind?
I totally agree. Yeah, absolutely. There's not many more spiritual experiences that someone can directly feel that's more powerful than that. I totally agree.
No limitation in time, no limitation in space, no limitation to one body or no body at all. Being in more than one place at the same time, become another being, morph into another creature, meet spiritual guides for those who are. I met one, and I never wanted to meet one, but I met one day. I'm spiritual, not religious. I'm a free guy. When I say I'm spiritual, is not. It has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with any system whatsoever. Maybe call it agnostic, but even that I would reject any kind of name, just so that I don't die stupid. You know, even though I'm pragmatic in all of this, but I do not want to enter any system. You know, any kind of system that says things are like this, things are like that, and then I get limitation, you know, or it's like this and like that. But at the same time, I keep the door open and I listen to everybody, you know. You are an astral projector, tell me what you have done. I'm more like, okay, what you have done, what you have achieved. Let me try, let me do it on my own. I'll see what happens. So I don't judge anyone. Yep.
Peter Moran's asking, how do you start this process? So he's asking, like, how can he start this process?
Okay, Peter. All right.
Peter comes out with huge questions.
Okay, so okay. Before I will come up with my own little guide written about 10 pages, something like this. It will come up this year. My hands are almost itchy to come up with it, but until I find better, go to my website, lucidity4o.com. So 4 is a digit. Lucidity, you know what it is. 4 is a digit. OALL.com. And then go to library. Go to Steel Series. And you will find there indirect approach. Indirect approach. So indirect approach was developed by Michael Raduga. So until I do something on my own, I advise you to go and read there. There is a link to his book. The book is 500 pages, but you don't need to read 500 pages. You read there 9 pages. That's all you have to do. You read those 9 pages and you are set for tonight. You can do it tonight. You can have success tonight. All you have to do, read the 9 pages carefully. Practice what is being done there. The practice takes you about 5 minutes, so that when you wake up in the middle of the night, you don't start to wonder what you have to do. You don't want to wonder. You want to perform the technique immediately. So follow up on my site, register there. I will come up with my own guide with kind of upgrade. To do that, I will talk about it in a short while. What's the difference between what Raduga does and I would implement. But until I do my own, pick up that. Pick up that, read these 9 pages. I tell you which pages to read there. That's how you start. So make that reading, and my advice, don't read, don't watch anything else. And try to forget everything you heard about it, everything you learn about it, because it will make the thing obscure with you expecting things that are not real. So do that and you will have success. And if you don't, if you try it for 10 times and you didn't have success, come back to my forum there and say, Yuri, I have done it 10 times, I don't have success, and I will analyze what happened. All right? So this year I do it for free. I still have time. The community is growing. So there is no thousands on the site. There is thousands of people in Facebook, but on the site I still have time. Go there on the forum, post your questions if you didn't manage to have your first experience, and I will debug whatever you have done there. All right? Is it good enough?
Excellent, Yuri. So intent is important here. Like when you're going to sleep, to kind of like be expecting that it's going to happen.
Michael, intent is everything. It's absolutely everything. I mean, in daily life is easy to understand. Somebody who doesn't have intent, somebody who doesn't have a focus, the life is not focused. The guy or girl is jumping from one subject or conversation to another, can't focus on one thing. And look at our life today, you know, it's just too much information. Movies are jumping from one subject to another. People are just, you know, so the person gotta be focused. Intent is very important for the guy who is practicing. It's a beginner. He still didn't convert to the what I call a dreamer personality. So he's just like another guy. So if it's just, you know, once in a blue moon, the guy will think about lucid dreaming and start wondering how come he still didn't have it. That is not going to work. The intention has to be present. You know, you want to achieve it, be serious about it. It has to be there. Every single day you think about it. That's what you want to do, because then it becomes like a seed. So you thinking about it, that's how you verbalize, how you manifest your intention. You know, intention is one word, but how do you do it? Yes. One way of doing it is to thinking about what you want to do. So you have time during the day where you refocus your mind on what you want to achieve. That is how to manifest your focus into what your intent is, what you want to do. And then you wake up in the middle of the night and your intent has been there, so you do it. Compared to the other guy who goes for 2 weeks with a very weak intent or no intent whatsoever, and for 2 weeks he's trying but he never does it. He will sleep through the whole night and nothing happened. You know, so intent is very important. And then another important part of the intent is once you are in the dream state, intent is your driving wheel. Wherever you are intending, whatever you are intending in your little coconut there, this is what's gonna happen. So if the guy is not in control of his intent and his intentions, prepare for the wild ride.
That's gold.
Because you're gonna deal with all you think in your little coconut, and that is not always nice. So if you are dealing with some, you know, with some nice and scary stuff, deal with it. I mean, deal with it now. You know, it's gonna come up. And if you have erratic thinking, this is gonna be erratic experience. You know, the guy is gonna have the mirror of himself, of his life, because the intention is manifested immediately in the dream state. So that's a huge mirror for any guy who practices it. So now you are here, you have time, you can have erratic thinking, nobody sees anything, neither you. But then you are in the dream state, you start to have this kind of thinking, and then it starts to manifest, and then you start to realize, oh, I've been thinking that, and now the little serpent, little creature is there, and now I have to deal with that little creature, and I don't want it anymore. You see what I mean? Intent is everything. Is a big subject. Intent is your steering wheel. Is where you go. So you gotta put it straight, man.
Now, Yuri, speaking of intent and how intent is what is driving us in that state, how come sometimes in that state it's like we've got a thought process that is similar to in waking state, but then other times when we're in that state, it's like what's inside us is so truthful that we don't have time to think about it. It just happens. Like, for instance, I don't want to get into too many examples here because some of them are quite embarrassing for me, but I've had dreams where I've woken up and gone, what the hell, why was I doing that? Like, for instance, okay, I'll give you like I'll totally embarrass myself in front of everyone here. Like, I'm really happily married with my wife. She's beautiful. Anyone who knows Trace, she's a gorgeous Austrian, bombshell, beautiful person. But sometimes I may have a dream that I meet up with some woman and have sex with her and all this stuff, and I wake up and I'm like, dude, what was all of that about? I don't have time to think about it. It's just like, I just did it. I didn't even hesitate, kind of thing. How come sometimes in that state we're like, no, I'm married, I can't do this, I don't want to do this, but in other times it's like it just happens. There is no thought process. It's just like pure, I don't know, like.
Okay. So which one I answer? Why is it? Why do we get kinky, or how do we go with it without overthinking?
Let's go wherever you think that this needs to go.
Okay, no, because it's one is kinky overthinking, and the other one is the feeling of bliss. Oh, I'm not thinking anymore. That's great. It's two subjects, man. Okay. Personally, I have no taboos. My wife is beautiful as your wife. But man, look, it's sex on internet is the number one consumer of the bits.
Yep.
Okay, it is the number one. Sex has been upgraded to the state where it's all over the roof. And personally, I had to deal with it for quite some time. So I'm being honest there, And when you go to the dream states, where you have no limitation, whoo, man, now I can do all of the things that I have imagined and not yet imagined, and beyond, and upside down. So the attraction is great, and for you to not to do it, you gotta have the quite the strength of or intent, quite well straightened up, not to be attracted to this in the current situation. Maybe the dreamers of 1,000 years ago, where everyone was monkeying every single guy and girl in the tribe, when they dream, they have no problem with it. Okay, bing bang bada boom, and then they fly to the stars. But today we have been brainwashed with this sex and sex and sex and sex. For myself, I had to deal with it. So like I say, I have no taboo with it. Deal with it. So the problem with all of these things like sex, flying, because we are not birds, so we like to fly, diving into the ocean, and all of this. This is all great. Anyone who starts with it, I mean, do it. Eat enough of food. You know, you never eat enough of food. You didn't have enough sex, have enough of sex. You know, so therapeutically and psychologically is a good thing. So the guy or girl is gonna be much more satisfied as a person. You know, some guys for some reason maybe can't have access to these ladies or to these guys for whatever reason, and now they can. So why not get satisfied so you can go on? What you can go on with, I call it things that you can do out of the table, things that you can do in everyday life. Sex, flying, eating food, swimming in beautiful place, all that. This is things that you can imagine, but there is another aspect of these states which goes beyond the human mind. Yes. And if each time you go to the dream state and you want to bang someone, it might take you many months, years, until you start to achieve something interesting for yourself.
Yes.
Raduga has very nice advice for that. Is prepare a plan of action, achieve what you want to achieve first, and then go bang someone. Do it last. Don't do it first.
Yes. Okay, Yuri. In as far as you touching on this thing of non-human, like things that are kind of maybe outside the scope of human imagination, or not. Let's just say like not normal human things. Let's go into that a little bit, because sometimes I know that I come out of experiences and I'm like, I don't even know how to even think about what just happened, even to myself, let alone express it. What's all that about?
Okay, there was another point I wanted to explain just now. Remember the kinky, the kinky spunky, and the bliss of the no thought, and then I will rebound on what you have just asked. So there is another very important aspect, and for me this is the superior technique. We will talk about the next time, but this is the superior technique of how to remain in the dream state longer, so you don't wake up too fast.
Oh, nice. Yes, that's important.
Beginners wake up too fast, you know.
Yes.
Excitement, boom, you woke up. And stopping internal dialogue, stopping that blah blah blah. This is a superior technique for you to remain in the dream state longer. So I just say that, so sometime you will experience it just like that, and you acknowledge it. Oh, now I'm not thinking how good it is, but what you gotta do is to really be careful. Okay, so now I'm not grabbing this thinking machine of myself and erratic analyzer and describer, commenting guy of everything that's going on, you know. And you start to appreciate things, and magical things happen there. It becomes magical. So I just say that, okay, how you practice that? Okay, try not to think, okay? And the more you try, the easier it becomes. And then you start to observe yourself. I'm not thinking, I'm stopping that internal dialogue. And the more you try, the easier it becomes. We will talk about it the next time when we will talk about the advanced practices and all that. So maybe we will talk about internal dialogue. We keep it for the next time. It's a big subject. It's very interesting.
So you're saying, Yuri, that during the experience to try not to have internal dialogue, and you'll stay in the environment longer.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
That's
there are many techniques. This is the superior one. Then you don't need to do any technique, because techniques are boring. They take time, and this one you can do in the background. You see. We have some comments going on, no?
Yeah, we had a whole stretch of them, like not too long ago. Let's see if we've got any questions there. My wife jumped on because we were talking about. I was talking about my wife.
Yeah.
So she was having a laugh about that, and we had Mark. Mark's enjoying the dialogue
Good
thus
stuff.
far, and we got Scott Bogdan from the United States. Scott's right into this, and also Peter. Peter was saying thank you for your answer in explaining, where he can go to start this all
Oh, you're
off.
welcome, Peter.
So
Go
yeah,
on.
like the internal dialogue thing, that's really important. I'm actually going to remember that, because I find with myself that I'm snapped out of the environment quickly, like quite often. Especially if I try it, if my attention to detail becomes too great, it kind of like snaps me out. So if I see, for instance, a building that's got sandstone, I'm like, oh my God, that's sandstone. And then I walk right up to it and really try to look closely at the sandstone going, oh my God, this is real. But if I get too caught up in that, bang, I get snapped out of it.
Okay, but this is maybe you have read it somewhere, but you probably know it. You can't look at one spot for more than 2 seconds there,
Yes.
because looking at something is one way to tell, to manifest your intent of going there. So you coming up to and looking into details, or the fine details of whatever, you keep staring at something, that is you asking, I want to go there. So when you are in the dream state and you start staring at something like that, there is 2 things that are going to happen. You're either going to dive into there. So let's say it's a distant thing that you are looking at, a distant tree, building, or some object at the distance. So if you keep staring at it, you will start flying, moving towards that point, or you will teleport to that point. Or it's gonna be a complete dream change. So you're gonna be, if you start to look at the details of a wall, you will be sucked in. You'll be sucked into it. It doesn't mean you're gonna appear in the middle of the wall, or it doesn't mean you're gonna appear in the middle of the painting that you were staring at. But it could be. If you stare at the painting, you will be sucked into the painting. So in any activity that you are doing, that is one thing that is will be acting as a vacuum, unless you have no internal dialogue, unless you have stopped your internal dialogue. And if you really stopped it, then you can stare, man. You can stare at things just like you stare at anything right now. And that's amazing, because that's the problem. Because that's the problem. You can't stare at anything in the dream state. If you stare, you will collapse the dream state, or you will be transported in a new place. And that's the problem, because one of the things you want to do is to resist the dream change. You want to remain wherever you are, to achieve whatever you are doing, to finish the conversation, be in a beautiful place, inspect whatever you want to inspect. You don't want to be displaced or teleported or change the dream. You want to remain there. So staring is a big no, unless you have stopped your internal dialogue. Then you can stare. Then it's very pleasant,
Yes,
then
absolutely.
Nice.
Does that include emotions as well, Yuri? Like sometimes in the dream state you can feel very strong emotion. Do we class strong emotion in the same level as internal dialogue?
No, emotions is different. I see only one limitation to the emotions, is to do not do them to the point where you get overexcited. But overexcitement is not an easy thing to measure. Everyone is different there. But over time, because the problem of overexcitement, your heartbeat increases, but your physical body heartbeat increases.
Yes.
You see, so once the heartbeat increases, your physical body will wake you up.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Same goes with your breathing pattern. So you can alter the physical body breathing pattern by starting to be conscious about your breathing pattern in the dream state. So anyway, coming back to the emotions, it's fine to be excited. It's fine to have an accelerating situation and be amazed in what's going on. It's fine to be scared. It's fine to be in love. It's fine. It's all fine. But you gotta look up where is the limit? Where is your own limit there? Beyond that limit, imminent awakening. You see, I just say that, so whoever is listening, be careful with it. You, some guys practice no emotions, you know.
Yep.
No whatsoever. But it's not internal dialogue. Emotions is different. It's not. You don't say I'm in love. You are just in love. You know. You don't need to talk about love. You can just be.
Yes.
You don't need to talk. You don't need to say I'm scared. You know you are. You know. Emotions is a human thing, or maybe alien thing too. I don't know, but they are there. But it's not talking. Emotions, feeling is different. It's not, I don't think it's the same.
Yep. Okay. So, alrighty. I had an experience not too long ago where I'm in the dream state. I'm in the dream world, and it's like I spent a lifetime in the dream. I'm married to a beautiful lady. I have got kids. I'm on another planet. The architecture is like completely alien. I'm me, but not in this body. And I'm living an entire life in this dream. I'm holding this lady's hands. I'm walking through the woods, and the trees aren't from Earth. The sky's not from Earth. And all of a sudden, I think to myself, hang on a minute. This isn't my wife. This isn't Earth. What the fuck am I doing here? And I start to look around, and bang, I wake up. And I wake up, and when I woke up, I'm like, oh my God, it felt like I was gone for a whole lifetime. It was really weird. That experience has stuck with me, like, you know, just the reality of it and the emotion of it and everything. It was like it was real. Yeah.
So you want me to comment on that?
First,
I have a question. I have a question for you. When you say you lived a life, you are saying you had the memory of your life of that guy, or you have spent, or you have that's the answer, or the other one. Did you had impression to be living there, staying in that state for a long time? You see the difference? It was like, memory of it.
Yes.
You have access to
like
memory.
It was like it wasn't me as Michael,
but it
was like I was someone else.
You are someone else. Yeah.
It was like I was a completely different person.
I know what you talk about exactly, because I have experienced that as well, Michael.
Yeah, bro. What is that? Like that? Okay, that's crazy.
I had and on my side, I had two different experiences like this. One was exactly like yours, where I am incorporating the guy, me, another me, okay?
Yes.
Having a different life, or no. And then I realize, just like you, I would say the same story like you say, okay? And another type of experience where I meet another guy who is me.
Wow.
So I have two memories at the same time. I know me, and I know another me. And in my case, that another me was a dude of 3 meter height. So he's a giant, you know. He's a giant.
Wow.
he was standing, meditating. So he's meditating, and I can feel him, man. It's just like it's psychedelic, man. The experience is I'm standing, I'm looking at him, and his eyes are closed, and I'm him and me at the same time. So I'm in two positions at the same time. So and I go, all I can touch is his hands. So I reach up with my hand and I touch his hand. So I want him to open eyes. But when he is opening eyes, I'm opening eyes at the same time. You see what I mean? And then we are looking at each other. I'm looking at myself.
That's awesome.
And I have two memories at the same time. And I know myself, him, me. I have a wife, 3 meter height. I have one kid, she's a daughter, and I have access to the full memory of another me. That's another one. So it's like two perspectives. You just live like in another you, or meeting the you. For me, it's what is that? Is I don't know. Maybe some parallel universe. I had some other experiences like this. This oneness thing. I don't want to become too woo-woo-wah-wah about it, but that's how it felt, man. So that was psychedelic experience. It was psychedelic experience, and I went to that state, where is kind of machine world that Terence McKenna talks about. Where I was uncomfortable for a while because the sounds was like a computer, those computer with the hard drive and the electricity passing by, like a big orchestra, but like, I don't know, 100 decibel from within my head. And then outside was flowing rivers of different colors and all of that. And then for some reason, say it is me suggesting thing, or me having a wishful thinking, whatever, but that's what happened after this. I started to connect to other guys. And I had a very and I'm not religious, okay? My mom is Orthodox, but me, I'm a really free guy. But don't ask me why, but for some reason I was like, Jesus!
Okay.
Jesus! Oh man! It took me on a wild ride. That was not the fun part of Jesus there. If Jesus existed, if he is real, we probably will have some Christian guy listening to it. Well, I immediately, Jesus! Oh my God, man! The feeling, the atrocity of it just flooded the whole out of me, and at the same time, I'm no more Yuri. Take it. And I'm like, oh, how do I come back to myself now? I don't want to be Jesus anymore. Finish. It's too painful, man. Thank you very much.
So this is like you were experiencing the atrocities that were done to Jesus, like you were being crucified. Is that what you're saying? Not. I wasn't on the cross. I wasn't seeing blood or anything, but just the whole thing is just like Jesus, pain. Yes.
And then it lasted for 15-20 seconds, and it took me 20 long seconds. From the first moment, the moment I entered him, became him. It's not just thinking about it. It's not external. I'm internal. I am him.
Yeah.
And it's from inside. Oh no, thank you, but no. Immediately I want to come out. So I'm being honest with subjective stuff, and whatever experience I just say it, and I'm not saying this is the truth and you have to swear by it now, but okay, that is what I have experienced. I'm sure some guys will relate to that. I'm not the only one to experience this kind of thing. But okay, I'm not creating some kind of truth, religion, or guru-like thing. I'm just sharing. I'm not getting. I'm not an extremist about anything I say.
Yes. No, we're pretty similar like that. I mean, you've mentioned a few times that you're spiritual, but you're kind of like a spiritual anarchist inside. It's just
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
it
Man,
is what it is. You know, it's a free thing. I'm the same.
oh yeah, man. For me, God is a joker, man. If there is a God, he's a joker. Look at Panda, man. If it's created by God, I mean, look at Panda Bear, man. You think this is evolution? This is evolution of a bear? Come on, man. Give me a break, man. Look at butterflies. Look at all the
Yes.
beautiful butterflies. This is evolution? Oh, man, give me a break, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Any God is a joker, man. He's not taking things seriously.
100%. I mean, most of the people that I've met that are highly evolved or spiritual, they're all hilarious people. They're all people that don't take any shit too seriously. You know, they're laughing 3/4 of the time.
Yeah, I will upset some guys there, but man, I can't be serious for too long. I'm sorry, anyone who is too serious about it, well, man, there are other houses where the guys get serious. I mean, I can't, man. I can't do that. You know, I like to laugh. I like to make some jokes, even at the
Yes.
serious stuff, man. I mean, come on.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Ain't that the truth?
Hopefully one day. that would be good. I mean, oh, yeah. So, do we have any other question on the side of the guys who listen to us? Any comment, guys? Don't be shy. Ask things, huh?
So in the meantime, while we're waiting for a couple of questions to come through, we were going to delve into the more like non-human type of
Experience. Mhm.
experiences, like that are difficult to relate, where you can't even find words sometimes to try to think about it yourself, let alone explain it to another person.
Mhm. So you want me to give you some examples of it?
Yeah, or what you think it could possibly be.
Okay. Something easy to grasp, you know, because again, it's gonna be something where I can tell you, but you gotta do it to understand it fully, you know. So it's like explaining how the movie was, but like my story of connecting to somebody, you know. You gotta do it to feel it, you know. So
Yes.
that's the difficult part of explaining it. But take something easy. Become a planet. You know, become a planet. But when I say you become a planet, it's not just the globe. It's everything that is on it. And you are not alone like that. There are other planets like you. You are not alone, and you can feel them. So you're not just, you know, planet, ocean, trees, earth, water, flying in space. No, you are also every human being, every animal, every mosquito. You can connect to everything, feel it, experience it. You are all of it at the same time, plus the internals, whatever you want. Okay, this is becoming the planet. Okay. Everything at the same time, and you are not alone. There are other guys like you, so you are living in the world of a planet. Imagine that. I mean, imagine. Okay, now be it.
Yeah.
Now be it. Take it. Okay, deal with it. That is something, you know. Another thing, become something much smaller. Become an animal, but not like an animal. You are the animal. You know, take a cat, or tiger, or snake, mosquito. I don't know, anything. But it's not like it. You are that creature. You start seeing things like the creature. So you're a mosquito and you have the vision of the mosquito. You are a bird and you feel the wind on each feather of yours. You feel the beak. You you open the beak, you know, and you feel the internal when the beak closing. You feel the how is it to close the beak and open it, you know. You are an eagle flying, and you have that zoom, you know. Or you are a lion and you are running, and you can feel your heart is pumping blood in a different way, you know.
Yes.
You feel the ears, and you put them behind, and you can feel that stretch, you know. When you open the mouth, the whole fur is stretching in the same way, and the teeth are coming, and you feel it that like that. It's not like watching a movie. It's being the lion, you know.
Being it. Yes.
This is not being human there, you know. How about being in more than one place at the same time? You know, incorporating. You can be in two humans. Why not tiger and human then? You know. Or how about not having a body at all?
Yes.
You know? How about seeing things in 360 degrees? Very uncomfortable, at least to me. I don't know. Some guys say it's a cool thing to do. I found always uncomfortable. Same goes with being in many places at the same time. I find it very uncomfortable.
Yes.
2 stories, okay, but 3 stories, oh, give me a break, man. I don't want to listen to three type of beat and music at the same time. Oh man.
Well, I mean, if we want to go deep into something, I mean, I always ask myself the question, when I'm in the environment and I'm looking, I mean, I don't have eyes, so you know, how is it that I'm looking at the environment? How is it that I'm taking the environment in when there's no biological body there? I don't feel that I've got a body. You know, if I look down and try to look at my hands or something, sometimes maybe I can see something that resembles a hand. Other times it's like I'm just an awareness kind of thing. I might see a wall and I think, wow, that's a wall. And while I think about, wow, that's a wall, I'm now starting to move towards it, you know. Or I might see out the window, oh, what's out there? And now I'm starting to move towards, you know, the window. But there's no actual body as such.
But there is a body if you want it to be there. If you expect the body to be there, you will have it. But if you don't expect it, then maybe it's just transparent. Absolutely. But I've been caught many times of I'm looking for my hands and then they're transparent, and sometimes I will hit my face. But if I don't have a hand, I don't have a body. What am I hitting? I'm hitting the remnants of, you know, the residual expectation of hitting it, and sometimes I go through. You know, I cannot hit the face, so I'm like, okay, where's the hand? I'm okay, the hand, but well, I don't really feel it. Wait, where's the hand? Yeah, so it's the dynamic of it is completely different. There is not if here every time we come back to and we wake up here and we will have a body. Out of body, astral projection, phase, whatever you want to call it. The body is not always there, or it can be anything. That's the reality of it. Yeah.
I suppose when you're changing reality streams or reality, you know, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Tom Campbell's work. I'm going to use a little bit of MBT
I was going
stuff.
to say, yeah. This is
like even this reality that we're in now. You know, Tom pretty much says this is a virtual reality. It's all in consciousness anyway. So there really isn't a difference between this reality and the dream state. It's just like a change of data stream, you know, like
data stream,
picking up a so in that respect, when we're in the dream reality, we're carrying some of the expectation and what we're used to from this reality into that one. So therefore, we might think we have a body like this one.
Yep. Yeah, I'm familiar with Tom. I spoke with him a few times online, and I watched a few of his talks. Oh, he delivers a lot of talks about it. He's traveling a lot around the world, and quite a straight mind there. Every time I look at him, he looks like he's meditating all the time. He's like,
yes.
Oh, he's in the data stream, man. Oh, that is Tom
Very
Campbell.
calm.
Oh,
Very calm, dude.
Yeah, calm, and it looks like, and you know the funny part is, I remember in one of his talks he says that he can connect to data stream anytime. It's quite a capability then. I gotta talk to him and ask him how he does it. I didn't see it anywhere. I didn't read his book yet. I have his book.
Yes.
I gotta read. Maybe he explained in there, or maybe I better contact him and ask him, are you explaining it in the book before I have to run through it? Because otherwise, the only guys I know who connect immediately like that is careful. I'm not saying anything about Tom there. Is either
No,
the guys
right.
either guys are taking drugs or they are schizophrenic, you know.
Yes.
Who bipolar guys who are switching realities just like that, you know. But common guys like me, I got to relax for a while before I can do that.
Yes.
I'm being honest there. No, I'm not saying I'm a guru who just streamline connecting to data streams like that. I can do it fast with wake back to bed technique. After sleeping a few hours, eliminating the deep sleep, and then do the transition thing. That can be done in a few minutes. Well, minutes, okay, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You know, it can be done quite fast. But you know, with these things put up all together. If you ask me to do it right now in 5 minutes, yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. No, I can't do that in 5 minutes. So I'm quite interested if Tom Campbell is not schizophrenic, then how he does it.
Yeah, he's
but
look,
he's not schizophrenic. Come on, he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
He is. He certainly is. He's a one of a kind.
He looks like he puts his bits together well. So his
Yes.
bits of information.
That's it.
Yeah. But what it is and all of that, it's okay. Tom has one opinion about it, so it's virtual reality. It's okay. It's quite a fashion right now, you know, the virtual reality thing. After the Matrix came up in 97, 98, and after this there was before that there was that comic writer who talked about virtual reality for the first time, and now it's quite a fashion, you know, virtual reality. Then the Tesla guy came up.
Yes,
Tesla guy.
yes.
That what's his name?
Discussing simulation theory. Yes.
Yeah, simulation theory.
Elon Musk.
That's quite Yeah, quite a few guys. Yeah, no, physicists, all that. Say statistically, it's okay. It's like this. Okay, but it doesn't make my day. You know, you can. I studied that, but where does it bring me further? No. So do you have a way to come out of it? No. So okay, let's talk about it for a few hours, and what's gonna happen? Nothing. See what I mean? So
Yes.
I don't see great point there just to know it. If we can come up as like in that movie, what was it? 13th floor or 23rd floor?
Oh yeah, that's actually a great movie, The 13th Floor. I really enjoyed
And then
that
the guy actually incorporate in the he come out from the computer, go into the mind of the guy.
Yes.
That would be nice then.
I mean, when we're talking about this stuff, I think what's fundamental is that, I mean, consciousness is something that is crazy. I mean, we just don't understand it. It's so incredible that, I mean, I'm looking out the window now at this so-called real reality and thinking to myself, like, this is probably all happening right now within consciousness. There's probably is no such thing as a separate reality anywhere.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Maybe
What are your thoughts on that? On
okay,
consciousness being fundamental.
Okay, I'm partisan of Carlos Castaneda there. So without being extremist again, like I say, whatever I do, I'm not clinging to anything. But I'm studying closely Carlos Castaneda for many years. I have implemented many good ideas, like self-importance thing or big energy liberator. You know, a life changer thing. You know, stop giving such importance of who you are. You know, who I am.
Yes.
You know, don't give a shit what other guys think about me. Yeah, right. Of course. Okay, good. And beyond that, there's so many interesting messages there. So the in Carlos is okay. First book of Carlos was a cookbook of how to make your own drugs. How to find the plants in the desert and how to cook them. The whole book was just a cookbook, man. But after that, it was the separate reality and all of this, you know. And then I added to that. Remember my times with yoga, and then I was experiencing with psilocybin mushroom in Indonesia. That was adding up, and you know, and I mean, look at all the psychedelic arts. Look at all the experiences of all the guys who go with DMT trips, LSD trips, psilocybin trips, and all that. Are we all copying each other? Are we all keep talking about the same thing there? You know, the mandala that I'm having behind me, these vortexes that we see, these geometric patterns, how you call it in mathematics?
Yes. Yeah, like the fractals and everything.
Fractals. Yeah, the fractal thing. You know, why all of us are seeing them? You know, I would say, okay, maybe it's enough to say, oh, it's just a hallucination. You know, Terence call it the true hallucinations. I like that, to put true and
Yes, for sure.
you got a dare to say it, you know. But I see, you know, is the underworld. You know, there is you and me as a perceiver, and that's why I call it shifting on my side, shifting reality. So you can quite easily see things in a different way. You know, like to take those simple stuff you're online, and I'm sure you have seen those things where you have to stare at the screen for 3 minutes at the dot, and around the dot you have those no,
Yes.
and then say, okay, now look around you, and everything starts to move.
Yes.
You know, what does it tell you? You have that brain there, you have that some kind of setup, you know, it's a certain tune up, so you see things in a certain way. But you can change it, you know. You just close your eyes, open quickly, and see around. Oh, oof, I saw something different, you know. So sometime it might just happen just like that. So maybe those schizophrenic guys, bipolar guys, they are shifting realities quite easily, you know. And I think what we see is not exactly how it is. It's we are all fixing it in one way. We see it in a certain way, but it doesn't have to be that way. Only. You know?
Yes, 100%.
It is that way. I love this way, but it can be more colorful. It can sound a little bit better, a little bit louder, a little bit more colorfully. You know, there is many. So that's why I go for Carlos there, because and the shamanic ways there is. Are you familiar with Carlos Castaneda?
I actually started to like have a look. I'm not an in-depth student, but I know who you're talking about. Yep.
Okay. So he's talking about assemblage point. So it's like luminous streams of energetic luminous strings and energetic strings passing through you, and you are like opening a certain window there, and you receive this kind of things, you know. So if you move it here, you will receive it in a different way or a different world, you see. So you are like shifting it, you know.
Yes.
And you know, I have 2 kids, 4 and 5 year old. We talked about it today, and man, they shift realities often, especially when they are tired. You know, then when they wake up, it takes them about 15 minutes to really straighten it up. Okay, I woke up and do things like that, but it takes 15 minutes. So okay, then it's fixed. Okay, so this is the world I deal with. Okay, and then I notice when they are tired, when they start to be tired, really tired, this world becomes too much, and it becomes a bad trip. If someone is listening and had a bad trip before, or has been next to a person who had a bad trip, maybe they can relate if they have kids who are into that moment when they get tired and they start to be cranky and crying and everything is too much, you know. So I see them switching realities, you know. They can be here and at the same time, you know. There was another day, it was my younger son, he had a high fever. He was hallucinating, man. That was something. So luckily he had a papa who knows what hallucination is about, so I took very good care. He was seeing insects, he was chasing, the insects were chasing him. Oh wow. Man, that was I was smiling and all that. But you know, another parent maybe I would be clueless, you know, clueless what's going on. So I see, to make it shorter, just as a resume, conclusion is I see us like a radio station, like a tuner. We tune to one point and we perceive things in a certain way, and it's like fixed, you know, raw like that. But it can change. What I'm saying, yeah. It can change.
Yes. So say for instance, a person that eats, you know, 10 grams of psilocybin mushrooms, you know, after around about an hour of consuming that, they're going to go.
Because if it's dry,
yeah, that's a crazy place, huh? That's a totally crazy place. Are they in the same kind of reality as the dream reality? Is it the same type of environment that they're experiencing?
No. It can be, but it's not the same. Usually it will not be the same. I mean, 10 grams, I have experience with 5, 6. I never went to 10, so being honest there. I mean, when I went to Indonesia, you know, in Lake Toba, oh man, you walk on the streets, it's magic mushrooms everywhere there.
Oh wow, yep.
In the country where I am, it's illegal, so I can't do it here. I saw some guys on internet go and find them, but I don't know. Man. It was a few years back we asked some guys if we went to some place in Malaysia, but nobody knows where. So anyway, in Indonesia, it's all over the place in Indonesia, in Lake Toba, and when we were taking them with some friends, the guys were like, "Oh my God, you're taking they're not dry, wet." You know? Yeah. We buy one guy, we buy for 6, so 3 of us. It was for 18 guys. You know, it's a big pack like that. And they're like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" You know? Man, but that was not the first year that we were doing it. And well, but we travel places with that, you know. It's I can have my eyes open and I can see something else, another world, another landscape, and close my eyes and see something else, or the same thing. Eyes open, eyes closed, still the same thing, you know. So it's quite something. And the interesting part is when I move my head. Because if you think, okay, this is some kind of after image that is, you know, you look at the bright light or something, or, you know, then you look at it for a while, then you close your eyes, and then on the surface of the darkness with your closed eyelids, you see these after images, right? So if you move your head left, the after image is moving left. You move right, moves right. But in this case, it doesn't move with you. So you can actually move your head, and you're actually looking at the 3D world there. You know, it's not an after image. It's there. you can look at it.
For sure. So you think maybe it's like what, another dimension overlapping this one or something that we're experiencing in that state? I mean, ultimately we don't really know. Nobody really does. But
well, look, you know. one point to that is when because we have met guys. We actually, it was another group I was with. We are laughing the whole night. It was just 1 gram and nothing else. But we were young and I don't know what was going on. It was we just went. We were laughing and just it was recreational stuff going on. But we met some weird guys who passed by, who spoke different languages. And these guys, we all saw them, you know. We saw guys with long necks. They look human, but they are not human. We were all looking at the guy and then looking at each other, and then looking at the guy, and then looking at each other. So when you experience something like that together, you know, it's a little bit more than just you. Suggesting things, hallucinating, you know. It's more than one, you know. So it's a group hallucination.
Yes. Yes.
So
we see the same hallucinating the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So unlikely to be the common understanding of a hallucination. Then you see. So same for dreams, you know. Dream state, out of body, astral projection. I have experiences where I get information that I'm not supposed to know, and I go the next day and I verify the information. How? You know? So you go to the neighbor house, you see things there, then you go to the house the next day. It cannot be subconscious mind, you know. That it's all new. I'm on holidays, you know. I'm not supposed to know the neighbor house. I don't have amnesia. I just arrived yesterday, you know. It can't be, man. I can't know what's going on in the house next door. So while out of body, lucid dream, astral projection, shifting, going there and getting information what's going on there. How? So I think it's a little bit more than just a dream. To conclude.
Yes, I'm totally with you. Yeah.
So that's which is good. I mean, then it's not just wake up, eat, work, shit, and sleep. You know, it's something more than that. So it's good. I'm happy about it. So it's a little bit more than just that. Makes me happy.
You know, it does, especially, you know, for those of us that have got like a kind of spiritual anarchy type of outlook where we're open to like just everything. We don't kind of have a centralized spiritual belief as such, but we're open to like everything. I think, you know, experiencing things like that really does, you know, leave life open. It's very exciting, you know. When you're closed-minded, it's I feel sorry for those people in a way. Although like not in an arrogant sense, you know, not like judging them or anything, but I just find that connecting with people who are truly open-minded and have that spiritual anarchy type of internal outlook are far more interesting to like delve into things with.
And you know, it's like, oh, you don't have PlayStation 5? Come on, man, you gotta get it. You know, it's the best game. Well, the guy is not interested in PlayStation 5. Fine, you know. So you don't want to see something beyond what you wake up and it's just a dream. Okay, fine, you know, stay with PlayStation 1. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right not to have PlayStation at all.
Yes.
You don't want to have an interstellar trip for free. You don't want to experience how to be in space or in the ocean or or ride the dragon. Fine. I mean, it's okay. I'm fine with it. When I started, I was like, man, I want to talk to everyone. It's amazing. And then I realized, oh man, some guys are like, no, Yuri, let's talk about something else. No, we can't talk about anything else. This is this is amazing. You can't miss it, man. And then some guys can actually get offended, They're like, no, don't rub it into me. I'm not interested. I want my life as it is. It's fine. And I'm fine with it now, man.
Yes.
It's okay. I have my dose of. I'm lucky. My wife is actually listening to me, and she has her own passions and all that. But she's listening to my shit, and actually she had a few lucid dreams for free. She's not practicing anything, but just by just being next to me, and she knows I'm with it 24 hours a day. Whatever I do many things, but this is, for me, I am a dreamer. So I call it being a dreamer. So I'm not something else and a dreamer. No, I'm a dreamer and something else. But I'm a dreamer first. That's first thing. Then the rest.
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
It's okay. It's okay. Guys are not interested. It's perfectly fine. It's okay. The world is different. It's okay to have different guys. Different. Who knows? Hey, we need guys who build rockets. Who build iPad.
Yes.
We need them. It's nice to have a computer. It's nice the guy with a. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks. Luckily you are here, man. Because if you're not there, I won't talk to them about my dreams to you. That's fine, but just do the computers. They're good, man. Launch the rocket.
I think it's nice, like for instance, if you're sitting at a table and you've got 10 people on the table, okay, you're going to have 2 that are vegans, you're going to have 2 that are like full meat eaters, you're going to have 2 that are sometimes a bit of meat, a bit of vegetarian, some of, all different. But what's beautiful is when all 10 of those people can actually sit at the table and all like have the best conversation and the best time in the world and not fight about fucking veganism and eating meat and hunting and getting into a big argument. Everyone's just like happy and enjoying it. That's really cool. And it's nice to be able to talk about anything and everything, on a live cast.
I think it's good. It's good to. I really enjoy freedom, and I enjoy and I enjoy mutual respect. I think if we have this, there would be no more war on Earth. It will be over, and it's you want to be whatever you want to be. Just let me be whatever I want to be, and that's all. That's a simple. My truth is like this. It's so cool, man. So cool, relaxing. So and dreaming does that, Dreaming is giving this, this freedom, because you can come to dreaming with your luggage, weight of whatever you believe to be the truth, and if you are careful enough, very quickly you will understand that many things that you impose on yourself as the truth can be overrun, and they are not truth at all. So if you believe that gravity is true, and that when you are in the dream state there is gravity, you realize, there is no gravity. It's all in my head. Okay. And then what else is in my head then? How much more I'm imposing on myself as the truth, and that is defining who I am in everyday life, and I'm limiting myself so much. How much? So it's you gotta be really careful there, you know, looking at yourself. Oh, I thought that. Oh, okay, but I shouldn't think that, man. That's wrong, you know.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Yuri. That's actually quite profound. You know, like what you just said there. You know, I find sometimes talking about things like when you mentioned gravity, I remembered that in some of the dreams that I have, like for instance, standing on the top of a tall building, and I have the urge to just jump and start to fly. So I jump, I start to fly, and then I start to think to myself, Mike, you can't fly. I start to doubt that I can fly, so I start falling, of course. You know, there's no gravity, but because I think there is, I start to fall, and then, you know, I come up again a bit more, and then I fall a bit more.
Intent, man. Intent.
Yes.
Intent, man. Intent is everything. You think, you are. You think, you are. That's why, remember, in stopping internal dialogue, you stop thinking, then you can be anything you want.
Yeah.
You
awesome.
don't. You stop playing ping pong with yourself. You stop being the ball of the ping pong. You know, everything you think, you're like the ball. Can fly, cannot fly, can go through the wall, cannot go through the wall. How about not thinking at all and go through the wall? Oh. You know, then the possibilities are opening up. Oh. You know, then the transcendental state happens. So I think we will leave it for the next time. We got to leave something for the next time, but then this is one subject, is stopping internal dialogue. The transcendental state like that is then it starts to be more crispy stuff, you know. Oh. When the internal dialogue stops, and then you are in any state, you know, even if you stop your internal dialogue right now, it becomes magical, it becomes psychedelic. You stop the world around you. It's just not easy to do. It's really not easy, because how I see it again, I come back to Carlos Castaneda with this fixing the assemblage point. We are so used to that state, and that state is the comfortable state. It's so comfortable, it's so habitual that you wake up, you take it, you don't even realize it. You see, kids is like until a certain age they are still very flexible, but after a while, same. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's good. It's good to be stable in one state, you know, putting your nuts together. It's good. It's all good stuff. But the problem of it is that's not the only radio station, man. There are so many. Yeah. So it's good to be capable. Okay, you can fix yourself in one radio station, one tune-up, one reality frame, one information stream of Tom Campbell. But it's good to be capable to switch them, you know, not to be clinging only to one thing there.
Yes. That's my uncle. Hey, Uncle Fernando. He's saying hello to us. He's probably just finished work. So I was going to just ask you something, and it slipped my mind. Oh yes, metaphors in dreams, like communication in dreams. Like sometimes I have dreams where I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I'm being told something here. The dream's actually telling me, it's giving me a message. You know, I went through a week 2 weeks ago where the whole week, Yuri, the dreams were like just telling me a message. And for the whole week, it just kept happening. The dreams I kept seeing symbolism and sometimes very literal things that were telling me obvious messages. You know, whether that's my own subconscious mind telling me those messages, or whether it's like my higher self, my soul, whatever, sending me messages. You know, it's amazing sometimes how clear those messages can be in dreams. You know, the metaphors are incredible.
You remember earlier I was talking about the transition, and I was talking about me making jokes, and the jokes are easy to make. the humor is very is on the tips of the fingers, is right there, is everything is funny, and everything is so easy to access.
Yes.
This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly that. So you get it in the dream state all the time once you are there, and you get it at the transition point as well.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
everything is it's amazing. It makes sense. But when you say it's the metaphors, they were talking about the future, or the metaphors are talking about what happened in 1 or 2 days before, and you found the metaphor is very talkative, very very meaningful.
Yes, the latter. So I may have, been going through a certain process in my mind for a couple of days on what I need to be doing. Like I'm at a crossroads and I'm thinking, what do I need to go left or do I need to go right? Like what should I do here? And then I'll have a dream where I'll basically be standing there and I might see a car stop at an intersection. One street goes left and one goes right, and then the guy in the car might wave to me like, "Hey Mike, watch what I'm about to do," and then boom, he goes left, and I'm like, in the dream, I'm like, "Oh my god, that's obvious, so I'm meant to be going that way." And then I'll wake up and I'll be like, "Holy shit, that was like, what a message," like stuff like that, for instance.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if it's me talking to myself, or if it's somebody else who talks to myself. At the end of the story, whoever is talking, the message is damn deep.
Yes.
It's just so how to say, so intimate with myself. It's so intimate. The intimacy of the situation is so close, right? So anyway, there is no doubt. It's by me for myself, or by somebody for myself, and it's nice, huh? It's very.
The advice is very profound. It's very specific. It's crazy.
It's very, very, very intimate. The intimacy is great, huh?
Yes.
Great intimacy there. Yeah, that's one of the beauty I find. It's very I don't know. It's very that's why sometimes I even sometimes I'm talking to someone in the dream state, and I would be asking, "Are you me?" No, but no, with me looks like they wouldn't say it's me. They don't know I'm you. No, nobody ever said that. But again, I think that would be nice is I talk about stopping internal dialogue. Even for myself, I need to probably to put a stronger intention to do all my dreaming experiences with the stopping internal dialogue. Now, not that we talked about it today, I think I'm gonna intend it strongly to put my future experiences with the stopping internal dialogue, because then I can have access to so many things, and then there is no more ping pong ball, me struggling to be being played by this erratic thinking. I don't need to employ any technique of sensorization or getting involved with the dream or anchoring my dream state. I don't need to do all of that. So I can just relax. I can stare at things. So I think and because maybe me asking questions, that's internal dialogue. Is it me?
100%. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm going to do the same now, Yuri. After this live cast, like a couple of big things that I'm, the takeaways that I've got. One of them is this internal dialogue thing, to like just keep it quiet. I suppose I need to up my meditation game. Of late, because of business pressures and stuff like that, I've been focusing on a lot of business stuff, so I haven't been meditating as much. So if I was to meditate a lot more and really quiet my mind, this is gonna help stop the internal dialogue in the dream state as well.
Yeah, there's many ways to help you out. Meditation, all that. Breathing technique are very good. Just focus on your breath, for example, is nice. Just
While
focus
going
on
to
the breath. Oh, anytime. You just
Okay.
you're being hectic, for example, and just doing don't know, something that makes you hectic. Your mind is too busy. Just stop right there. Close your eyes, or not, but maybe not. Don't look left, right, up, down. Just stare at some point somewhere. Just fix whatever you want to fix. And I will try to do it. So I just fix some point and I keep looking at that point. So, but at the same time, you can become aware and more aware of the surroundings. So you are staring at one point, but you become more aware of the surroundings. And at the same time, so you do that with your eyes staring at one point, or with your eyes closed. And you can and then focus on your breath. And what you can do is make it more and more lengthy. Usually we have this shallow breath, so we don't inflate the stomach. So what you can do is when you breathe in, so this is my yoga stuff, so you can inflate the stomach, breathe with the stomach.
Yes.
More than just with your chest, and make it more lengthy. So instead of inhaling for 2 seconds and exhaling for 2 seconds, inhale for 5 seconds, exhale for 5 seconds,
Yes.
and then maybe inhale for 8 seconds, exhale for 8 seconds. Maybe you can do 15-15, then it's gonna be 2 breaths per minute. No, that's too much. Maybe 5 seconds, so there'll be 6 breaths in a minute. I will put you it will calm you down great time. But stopping internal dialogue, you can read about it. You will read about it in Carlos Castaneda books.
Yep.
He will give you some exercises there with crossing eyes and try to walk with crossing eyes. I don't find it very fun to do personally, but okay, you have that exercise. So you cross your eyes, so you look at maybe on the tip of your nose, and you walk like that. But I find all of this, so I say stare or close your eyes and go and stare at the darkness, is just to take you out of what you are used to do every day.
Yeah.
So what you are used to is to look around, left, right, focus on this, focus on that, and at the same time you are thinking. So the yoga talks about it quite often. So everything that you put in a habit, that is associated with you with this assemblage point. So you talking to yourself in a certain way, fixing you in that assemblage point. You looking around in a certain way, blinking your eyes, body language in a certain way, that is you being assembled there. You see? So the moment you change that, while still awakened, you are making a disruption in the mechanism, and that's what you want to do.
Okay.
And then then you start to observe. You look and say, "Oh, I've been thinking. Okay, fine. Don't be too difficult. The more difficult you are with yourself, the more the fucker come back. So you just observe, be gentle. Okay, I'll be thinking. Okay, I'll stop thinking. Okay, but the longer, so it will be longer and longer and longer and longer, and then after a while you will start to see, I mean, you are not even saying it, but you know it, quite some time, but you don't say it. You just know it. And then it becomes quite magical, because then you actually start stopping the world around you, because you start to switch things. Your perception of time distorts, space distorts. You might start to see the hypnagogia, hallucinate. Many things can happen once you start stopping internal dialogue. It's a window. It's a great tool to switch realities.
We've got a question here, man. From Alejandro.
Yep, Castaneda.
Yeah, Salinas. All right. So he's asking, can you clarify about the assemblage point?
Alejandro, are you related to Carlos Castaneda?
That's the first thing that I thought when I saw it come up. I'm like, whoa, this is him.
Okay, we just spoke about it, but basically it's if I make a metaphor, so imagine you are the radio receiver. So you turn the knob and you fix yourself. You fix your receiver to a certain radio frequency, and you receive the radio station from that frequency. Then you take your knob, you start to turn around again, and you hello, ladies and gentlemen, and then you are at another station. And we can not only switch from one point to another to see different worlds, but we can also see the same world, but with different perspectives. You see, like in Carlos Castaneda books, he says you can see the world, the reality as energy, so as the pure energy. What is the underlying forces underneath? The underworld. You can also see more than one radio station at the same time. So being in two worlds at the same time. So the common one, for example, that many dreamers will experience once you start to practice dreaming, you are bound to experience these two perspectives at the same time, is your physical body and your dreaming body. So you are somewhere in the dream state, you are seeing things, but you can also open your physical eyes and see the room, and you see two images overlaying. So it's not very comfortable, but you receive two data stream there,
Yeah.
like Tom Campbell would say. So you are in the dream state, you see something, hear something, you are in a different position doing things, you see, and in this one. So assemblage point is more to the shamanic approach and vision of what is happening here, which is like tuning your radio, like I was saying. So assemblage point is the term used by Carlos Castaneda books, given by this shaman Don Juan. That is somewhere at the back, at the right shoulder, to assemble you in this reality, in this world. So, and his theory, you need energy to move it around. Okay. So the guys who have the vision of the underworld, the energy world, they will see the luminous body of the human being, and behind the luminous body there is this place where the luminous streams of energy pass through. So whatever is passing through this assemblage point is what makes your perception. You are a perceiver, so you see the world through a certain amount of frequencies, information that pass through that assemblage point. If you move it somewhere left, right, up, down, whatever that means, left, up, right, and down, you start to receive other kinds of luminous energy filaments. It's called filaments in English. So your perception changes. So I was putting the metaphor that's easier for me to understand for me and to explain is radio. So you turn the radio station, and every time you turn the radio station, it's not just you seeing things, but you change as well. Who you are can be changed as well in the world where you are. So if you are in an energy world, well, you are the energy too, If you are in an emptiness, you are the emptiness too, whatever that means. You have to experience what does it mean to be an emptiness and you not having the body? What does it mean? What does it mean to be in timeless and spaceless place? What does it mean? What does it mean for you to be spaceless and timeless? So you can change that too, So that is the assemblage point, how it works. It makes who you are, man.
There you go, Alejandro. Gracias por la pregunta. Yeah, well, look, it's my daughter. She's 8. Just the other day, she said to me that she said, "Daddy, the other night I was asleep, but I was walking my eyes were closed, but I could see the house. I could see a white outline around the doors, around the walls, and even though my eyes were closed and I felt like I was sleepwalking, and I said to her, really? What, you were actually asleep? And she was like, yeah, that was strange. She's like, has that ever happened to you, Daddy? And I'm like, I didn't want to say to her no, so I said, yeah, sometimes that happens to me too. And she's like, okay. So, but she's very active when she's asleep, man. Like, she moves, she sometimes wakes up, opens her eyes, and she's in another world, you know? Like, she's very active in that sense.
How old is she?
8.
8, yeah, see, young guys, huh? Me, I very often I see my room with closed eyelids. So that is. I mean, I'm not the only one. It's quite common. Seeing the room with closed eyelids is quite common. What I do after this, okay, normally if let's say you are trying to transition from waking to dreaming state, so moving physical body is a big no-no, because the moment you start to move your physical body, it's like you are tuning yourself back to the assemblage point of physical reality. So you don't want to move your head. But sometimes I take my time to move the head just to see if what I'm seeing is not just an image. And sometimes it moves with my head. So I'm being honest there. So I'm thinking, shit. So what am I seeing now? Since it moves with me, so it's not. And sometimes it's not. You know.
So you're saying when you move your eyes, you're looking at the same thing, even though your eyes are moving. It's a static kind of image.
It's a static kind of image. So it moves with you, moves with your head. So it's sticking to you. And sometimes it's not. So sometimes yes, sometimes no.
A lot of people report that from the DMT realm. When they're under the influence of DMT, when they're in that world, they say that's quite common. That happens a lot, where they look at a different place and everything seems static. It follows the vision, sort of.
Yeah, but sometimes it's not. So when it doesn't, then I start oof. Okay. So hopefully we answered Alejandro well, and it's funny because I saw him in one of the groups. So I noticed because his middle name was Castaneda, so of course I can't miss it.
Yeah, well, I actually, just before we started the live cast, I shared it back into the Lucidity for All group, into your group. So he may be watching it through that portal, through that assemblage point.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
So guys, whoever is watching us, please, you are welcome to. I didn't tell you what. So of course I'm teaching lucid dreaming, out of body, astral projection, all that. But I have something different, a different message there to give I have created the group that was about 3 years ago, Lucidity for All, and it contains for all. So I go with that for all, and what does it mean is not only I want everyone to be in peace among you guys, astral projectors, out of body explorers, lucid dreamers. Please go and debate who is right and who is wrong about it in a constructive way. That is good, but please don't fight. You know, let's leave everybody free. And another, let's be free and respect each other. And another thing that is very unique to the group that I entertain and the whole Lucidity for All thing that I do is ultimately all the teachers around the world will be inside. So there is no competition between, oh, I do this, oh, I do that, oh, I don't want to compete with this guy in this country or that country. I don't give a shit. Because when the student is choosing one to learn from one guy, he has a journey there. I mean, he is not blind to whoever is available around the world. It's all available by Google. You can Google out 10 teachers, 15 teachers around the world. So why you want to be scared that he's gonna go for another teacher than you? So I want put finally everyone in one place. You can choose the teacher you want to choose. You can communicate with the projectors, psychedelic guys, DMTs, whoever is there, talk in a respectful way, and to have all the information being accessible. I think it is good time for that. It's enough of competition and then all this jealousy and all these esoteric guys and then whoever extremist esoteric, extremist lucid dreamers, extremist agnostic, enough of extremists, man. Put all together and learn from each other. I think is the best way. Who knows what is the truth? Who?
Exactly.
When you show me that guy, I would like to talk to that guy.
Right.
In the meantime, let's be truthful. Nobody really knows, but we have a lot of good tools available now to experience it without the boo 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 wow. It's available, so you can practice lucid dreaming, out of body experience. You don't need to, if you are practicing for more than a week, a month, and you do not have results, come to see us. We have the technology for you to have it quickly, so you don't need to suffer for it. You don't need to have thousands of meditations before you achieve that. It's much more easier. There is a lot of misunderstanding about this phenomenon that is going on, that is being clouded by a lot of beliefs and misunderstanding. But it doesn't have to be that way. Prove it to yourself, and then you will know. You don't need to listen to me. Just do. Focus on the good techniques, and you will have your own experience to be the judge. You don't need to rely on anybody else. So, if you see it, you got lucky, and it's free. What is not free is when you come to see a workshop with me, or or with me or somebody else, or you buy books, okay? And let's be fair as well. You can come to Lucidity for All, and you can advertise whatever you do, of course related to the subject. I have no problem with that. It's also free. I want everyone to know that you exist, and maybe you have better technique than I do. I want to hear about them. I don't want to die stupid. So, and if it's your work, good to have more than one who actually explores and wants to share, dedicate their life to do that. There are many guys who are really cool around the world who are doing that, and I would like to have all of them on the board, and everyone starts to share things instead of doing the lone wolf in their corner and yes. I have this, I have 100%. That, and put it all together, man. Make a salad, make an efficient salad so everyone can enjoy. Yeah.
You're definitely onto something there, Yuri.
Yeah, and guys will come to your workshops. Don't worry, they're not blind. They will be attracted by your incense and your mantra, mudra, guru meditation that is very close to them because of their culture. I had some guys from India. They come to my workshops, and I explain things pragmatically and all of that. And he says, "Man, I did all you said, but the moment I call up my guru, man, I was out of body." I said, "Great, man, just do that. You call your guru, you out of body. What can I say? That works for you, man. Whatever is convincing you, that works, and the reality of guru for you, fine." You have another guy who is completely scientific, and he doesn't want to hear about guru. So he wants the scientific, do this, do that, and he has his experience at what the fuck, man. Oh, okay, good for you too, So different approaches, different kinds of people. We are living in a world with many countries. In every country you have it. Talk to the guys. Talk to the guys. How many different personalities you get there? They talk different language, and not only the language, they have the whole thing, cultural thing running there, for them, with them. And they're sensitive to different things. So stop being scared that your your approach is not going to be appreciated, and you should be scared of the competition. Come to Lucidity for All, put your profile, be with the whole world, man. That's
gold,
it,
bro.
I'm done.
That is
done, man.
absolute gold. Well, we've got a 3-part series with this, so you know, like, we're going to wrap it up now, but we've got another 2 live casts with Yuri on this topic, because it really is a topic that requires more than one live cast. So you know, in the coming days we will organize for the second live cast with Yuri, and we'll put that out as soon as we, you know, agree on a date and time. But it's been absolutely awesome, Yuri. I've really enjoyed this. What I like about you is that you're a real spiritual anarchist. You're open to everything.
Oh.
You invite everyone to your table, and this is what I love. I'm totally down with you. There's nothing more frustrating than dealing with, you know, whether it's online or whether it's at a real table, and people are like all tripping over, oh, don't use that word, or this word's wrong, or that technique's not right, and there's no discussion. Things aren't
Good. I don't give a shit, man. As far as it works, that's good enough, man. Maybe one word is for the next session. So it's gonna be maybe in a week time, 10 days, I don't know, something like that. But maybe it's a good idea, if you watch this session, write to Michael and myself, ask questions of what you would like us to discuss, because maybe you cannot attend the next session, but we will take into account what you want to know, and we will discuss it during the next session, and we will name you, we will tell where you are from, who you are, and whatever you want us to say about you, and we will discuss whatever question is getting itchy in your mind. So prepare your session. You have a few days now, a week or so. Send these questions to Michael Pinilla or me, Yuri Zaritsky. Let's do it.
Sounds really good, Yuri. Well, I'll put our contact details onto this live cast, so people that are watching it on Facebook can you know, have access to our contact details. And of course I'll be uploading this onto YouTube as well, and you know, we'll put it across both groups and all of that. So
let's make a revolution.
Pleasure. Yeah, I've really enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to the next one already, so we'll have to make it happen in the next week.
We'll get it done. Who knows, after this series, go on with other guys. There's many other interesting guys, but we'll probably come back maybe in half a year. We'll do some more things, I'm sure. I enjoyed myself with you, brother. Really enjoyed.
Thank you, my brother. And okay, so we'll wrap it up there, and I'll be in touch in the next hours or tomorrow or whatever, and we'll get the next one together and let everyone know. Thank you, bro.
See you,
Take
bro.
care, brother.
See you.
Ciao, Yuri.
See you. Have a good day in Australia. See you.
Thank you, bro.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Bye for now.
Thank you, everyone. Yes, thanks.